ഹലോ, അഭിനവ് കേൾക്കാമോ? റീടെസ്റ്റിന്റെ ഷെഡ്യൂൾ കിട്ടിയോ?
മിസ്സേ കിട്ടി. റീടെസ്റ്റ് കിട്ടി.
അറിയാലോ അല്ലേ? എന്നാണ് 18-നാണ്.
ഓക്കെ സാറ് ജിതിൻ സാർ അയച്ചു.
മൊഡ്യൂൾസ് 3 and 4 പഠിച്ചിട്ടിരിക്കണ.
ഓക്കെ മിസ്.
So 8 minutes past 8:50. So I'll just start now, okay? Tell others to join fast. So, in the last class, we were discussing about EDLC, that is Embedded Product Development Life Cycle Model, EDLC. And I said there are 9 phases in EDLC, that is starting from the need phase till the retirement phase. This is the need phase is the first phase. From need phase, we go on to different phases. And finally, the embedded product's last phase is retirement phase. So we have covered the need phase, conceptualization phase. After the need phase comes conceptualization. Then analysis phase also we have covered. Then after analysis comes design, that's also covered. And then comes development and testing, where we discuss several testing methods. That was also covered. And then deployment. And in all these activities which we had covered, like need, conceptualization, etc., there are sub activities also involved. So you have to study. If suppose in the question you are asked to write down the activities involved in conceptualization and analysis, you just need to write the activities in these two phases only. Okay, so suppose if you are asked to list down the activities in the design phase of EDLC, then you have to mention or write about only the design phase. So each phase can be asked separately as a question, or in general, if it is asked, I explain draw the classic EDLC model, then you have to draw this figure, and then you have to explain the phases in a small paragraph, just one paragraph. Just list out the activities which are done. Don't go for explanation in detail. If this is asked as an essay question, because you can't complete all phases within a single essay, so you just need to list out the activities that are carried out in each phase along with this diagram, if this is asked as an essay question. Otherwise, in the question itself, it will be mentioned to explain in detail about one of these phases. The name of the phase will be given. So you have to draw this figure and then write in detail about only that phase which is mentioned in the question. Is it clear? Is it clear to you? Okay. So we have covered the deployment phase, and we had reached previous class. We have reached the support phase. We were speaking about the after service and all for a product. So support phase was completed in the previous class. Now we have to cover 2 more phases, and that is upgrades and retirement. So let us go to what upgrades is, and then we will go to retirement. So all these were covered in the last class. So let us go to the 8th phase, that is upgrades phase. Upgrades. Okay, most of the products that appear in the market will come as an initial version. After that, there many features will be added to that product, and so later, after some time, it will come as an upgraded product with a different version number or a different name. So most of the product, especially the mobile phones, they come into the market with some features, but after that they get modified. Some when new extra features are added, they come as a second version to the previous one. So upgrades are going on frequently in the mobile area. So in this phase, in this phase, a system is subjected to design modification. So the existing system is design of the system is modified to include new functionalities, and sometimes new functionalities may be included, or sometimes these modifications may be because of some errors in the previous version. So to fix some bugs or to improve the functionality of a product, there can be design modifications happening. And when design modifications are done to an existing system, then it becomes an upgraded system. And the product enhancements are done by adding new features, and also for fixing bugs. So upgraded products, they appear in the market with a different version number or with a different name. So adding a new functionality or fixing any bug that has been noticed in the previous version is done during this phase. And after adding the functionality or after fixing the bug, the existing design is modified to form a new design, and the new product then appears in the market with a different version number or with a different name. So that can happen during different phases, during the after the deployment phase. Before upgrades is the deployment and support phase. And during this support phase also some bugs can arise, and those changes are made, and then the new product is introduced into the market, and that phase is called the upgrades. Then, so that is the eighth phase. Then you have the last phase of EDLC is retirement or disposal. Retirement means we are just removing the product from the market, or the product is going out of use in the market, or it is disposed from the market since its functionalities or technology might have become outdated. Because of the emergence of new technologies, some products that were built using older technologies might get disposed. So that is the last phase. So suppose the product that we have built so far, if it is not meeting the market conditions, or if it is not meeting the existing technologies, the technological developments, then it will be thrown out of the market. So that is the last phase. But certain products, they survive for a long time in the market and then they retire or they get disposed. But some products, they come to the market and then within a short span of time they get disposed. And certain products, they may not enter the market at all. So that is that depends on the technology and the design used in the product. So retirement and disposal, this is a gradual process. As I said, certain products will exist for a longer time in the market. So this is a gradual process in which the product is declared as obsolete. Obsolete means that it has not been put in use. So it is not of use to the people or the customers. So the product is declared as obsolete and discontinued from the market, and it is discontinued from the market. So the product is declared as obsolete and it is discontinued from the market, and that phase is called retirement phase or disposal phase of the product. Is it clear to you? Is it clear to you? Okay. So now why this disposal or why this retirement is happening? So it is essential, and this retirement is also essential. We should throw out certain devices which are not of use, and it is because of the following reasons. It is due to rapid technology advancements and due to increased user needs. User might request for more functionalities, and the existing product may not satisfy all those functionalities, so they may not use that product. So because of these reasons, most of the products are being disposed in the market. That is, one is the rapid technology advancement and another is increased user needs. These are the reasons why product disposal happens in the market. Now, some products, as I said earlier, some products may get very long lifetime, like in the market. That is, from their launch phase to their retirement phase, they must survive in the market for a longer period. Example, Nokia 3310 mobile handset. Have you seen this handset? Have you seen this Nokia 3310 handset? Anyone? Have you seen that handset Nokia 3310? One small mobile. Nobody has seen it. Okay, those mobiles, I think it came around 2000, around 2001 or 2. So, but it survived in the market for a longer time. Okay, so that handset, it was used for a longer time. Around, I think even now also some people are using this Nokia 3310 because it was easy to use for attending calls and all. So for calling, it was easy. Nokia 3310. Then some products, whereas some products they may get only small lifetime. Some products may come to the market, but since because of the technology development, they may not survive in the market for a long time, and they get disposed. And some may even fail to enter the market. They may not at all reach the market. So this is the last phase where the product is getting disposed because of either rapid technological development or because of increased user needs. Our needs goes on increasing. When one need is satisfied, we go for the next need. So since due to this continuous needs, the product may not satisfy all the needs. Most of the products may not satisfy all the needs. So due to this increased needs, some new products are introduced by companies, and those people often go for those products which have good functionalities or more functionalities which satisfy their needs. So most of the existing products, they will be thrown out of the market. So these are the 9 phases in EDLC. Is it clear to you? So we have completed the different phases in EDLC. How many phases were there? How many phases were there in EDLC? Okay, 9. What was the first phase? Need phase. Okay. So study the phases in that particular order. Okay, the order is very important. Only after completing one phase, we can go to the next phase. The need phase was the first phase, and the last phase was, which was the last phase? Retirement or disposal. Very good. Okay. So we have we have completed all the phases in EDLC. Now we have to go to the next section, that is EDLC approaches. Now, though we have explained, we have studied that there are 9 phases in EDLC. These phases may be followed in different order, or in different ways, the same phase, but it can be done in different orders. So, or you can model this EDLC in different ways. And what are the different ways in which we can model these phases? There are all these phases will be involved, but it can be modeled in different ways. Now, that is called EDLC approaches. So, or we call it as modeling the EDLC. So there are various approaches, and you might have studied all these approaches in software engineering. The first approach is the linear or waterfall model. The second approach is iterative or incremental or fountain model. Then the third one is prototyping or evolutionary model. And the fourth approach is spiral model. So these are the 4 different approaches in which we can model EDLC. So there are 4 approaches adopted for modeling EDLC, and it depends on the application also. Any one of these 4 models can be chosen based on the product that is being developed. So 4 approaches for modeling EDLC include a linear or waterfall model, then iterative or incremental or fountain model. Then the third one is prototyping, or also called evolutionary model, and the last one is the spiral model. So now let us see how EDLC is modeled using each of these techniques, that is linear or waterfall approach. First is linear or waterfall approach. So in this approach, anyway, the phases will be the same. All phases of EDLC will be the same, but the order in which they are followed will be different. That is what we are looking at in each of these approaches. So in this approach, as you know, linear or waterfall model, you might have seen going in a linear manner from one phase to the next. If you you might have studied waterfall model in software engineering. There you might have seen that after completing one phase, it goes to the next phase, like feasibility study, requirements analysis and specification. Then comes design, implementation, testing, maintenance. So in that phase, in linear order, it is going, and there is no loop from one phase back to the previous phase. So it is going in a linear manner. So that is called, it is a linear, or it is called linear or waterfall model. So in this approach, each phase of EDLC is executed in a sequence, just like waterfall model we have studied earlier. Here the phases of EDLC will also be executed in a sequence. And the flow is unidirectional. That is, I said, there is no loop feedback path from one phase to its previous phase. So it is often unidirectional, with output of one phase serving as the input to the next phase. And that is waterfall approach. There is no feedback loops. It is unidirectional, and the output of one phase will be given as the input to the next phase. And if the EDLC phases are following this approach, then it is called linear or waterfall model. So in this approach, each phase of EDLC is executed in a sequence, and the flow is unidirectional. The flow is often unidirectional, and where the output of one phase is given as input to the next phase. This is the general definition for waterfall model. If that approach is followed in EDLC also, then we call it as linear or waterfall model. Then all activities in each phase, they are well documented. That is an important feature of waterfall model. Any activity carried out in each of these phases will be well documented. Now, the model is, we can show that model as shown, model is as shown below. That is, we have all the phases which we had studied earlier, from the need phase to the retirement phase, but following a linear sequence. As you can see, the first phase of EDLC was need, the last phase was retirement phase, and this follows in a linear manner. There is no feedback from one phase to the previous phase. So this follows just this method. This approach is similar to a waterfall model. So as you can see here, the need phase, and we studied that in the need phase, we have an output obtained that is called statement of need. Do you remember the statement of need? The output of need phase was statement of need. Isn't it? If you study the need phase, you can see that we have explained earlier, the output of need phase is called the statement of need, and the statement of need is sent to the next phase. Okay, and that is what is written here. The output of the need phase is statement of need. And then comes conceptualization phase. It is going in a linear manner. And in conceptualization phase, we have system boundary definitions. That is, what are the different for each activity, there are documents prepared, and also including the CBA report. There we have studied what CBA is. It is cost benefit analysis. Cost benefit analysis is done in this phase, and a report is prepared. Then next, the third phase, analysis. All these phases have different activities. We have discussed it in detail when we studied EDLC. Here I'm just saying what are the main activities carried out in each phase. So analysis, there is requirements gathering done. Then comes the design phase of EDLC, where preliminary and detail, we have gone into detail with figures in preliminary and detailed design. Then comes the development and testing phase, where we study different testing types that are carried out. That is unit testing, integration, and system testing. So see, this part is to be ignored. This is from another page, the bottom page. So this, don't consider this part. Okay. Did you hear me? This is another page's notes. So don't consider this part. I think that photo was taken with that page beneath. So development and testing, we have unit testing, integration, and system testing. Then in development, we have to do both hardware and firmware development. Then the next phase is the deployment phase, where the product is launched into the market. And then comes, now after launching, you have to give the support to the product, functioning of the product. And during that phase, maintenance and bug fixing is done. Then comes the upgrades. That is what we studied today. That is product upgrades and new functionalities can be added or bugs can be fixed and new releases can be made. Then comes the retirement phase where the product disposal happens. So as you can see, this follows a waterfall model, a linear sequence, but the phases are the same. All phases of EDLC are included here. So that's the difference. So by following a waterfall approach, but phases will be the same as EDLC model. So this is called linear or waterfall model. So as we said earlier, it implements extensive review mechanism in each phase. Each phase is studied in detail, and it ensures that the process flow is going in the right direction. Since there is no feedback loops, the errors found in that phase should be fixed in that phase itself. So every details are documented thoroughly, and then every bugs is fixed in that phase itself. And so it needs an extensive documentation or review mechanism to use to implement this method. Now, even if some bugs are identified in the current design, they are not corrected there. Instead, it is postponed till the support phase. So if there is any, suppose we have reached the development and testing phase, and there was an error in the design which we are doing, but it will not be fixed here. It will not go back to design and fix the design errors. It will continue with the current design, and it will be corrected only during the support phase. So this approach, it assumes that each phase is error free. Each phase is perfectly done. And only if it is perfectly, only if such a method can be adopted, then we go for waterfall model. Only if we are confident enough to build a model with error-free phases, then only we can adopt this particular model. And suppose even if there are design flaws, it will be corrected only in the support phase or maintenance phase. So if bugs are identified in current design, the corrective actions are not implemented immediately, but it is postponed till the support phase. So the advantage is product development is rich in terms of documentation. That is, every phase is documented. Every details are documented in each phase, and there is better project management, and it has good control over cost and schedule. Suppose if a design changes in between, or the development methodology changes in between, then there can be the cost can vary. But but this model, it will not change the design. If it changes the design, the cost can vary. So there is control in the cost when adopting this approach. So that is the advantage here. That is product development. It is rich in terms of documentation, in terms of project management, and also it has good control over cost and schedule. And the disadvantage is that it assumes that everything will be done in the right place. That is, even if there are bugs, they are not bothered about the bugs. They are continuing with the design they have adopted. And also, risk analysis is performed only once, and risk involved in any change is not considered. If there are changes in between, they're not going to consider those changes in between. So any risk involved in changes, they are not accommodated in subsequent phases. So it assumes the first disadvantage is that it assumes everything is in the right place. Second disadvantage is that it performs risk analysis only once during the initial phases. Then the third disadvantage is that the working product is available only at the end. We are not getting any prototype of the product in between. Only at the end we get a working product. The working product is available only at the end. And bug fixes, fourth disadvantage is bug fixes and corrections are performed only during maintenance and support phase. So even if there is bug in the design, it will be carried over till the maintenance or support phase. So bug fixing and corrections are performed only during the last phases, that is maintenance or support phase of the life cycle. So these are more than advantages. This has disadvantages only. So we have to overcome these disadvantages. We adopt the other models, but this is more suitable if all requirements are known in advance, and if the developers are fully confident in developing similar products, then they can go for waterfall model. So the model is suitable for product development where the requirements are well defined and no change requests are expected. If there are no changes expected and if they are expertise in building such products, then they can adopt waterfall model. So this is about waterfall model, the advantages and disadvantages. Advantages and disadvantages are very important. So is it clear to you? Hello? Okay. So the first approach follows waterfall model where the phases of EDLC is executed in a linear manner, one after the other. There is no arrows going back. That means there is no feedback paths. And this is one approach. Then next, how can we model EDLC using iterative or incremental or fountain model? The second approach is iterative or incremental or fountain model. So iterative, the word itself says that some iterations are going on. That is, some loops are being executed. Incremental here means that after each phase, you get functionality satisfied. So during the next cycle, you get the next functionality satisfied. So here the product is built incrementally by adding functionalities one after the other. And that is incremental model. And it is called fountain model because it just goes from one iteration to the next, just like a fountain from, like, I'll show you the figure. Hope this is clear to you. Here we have one cycle, and after one cycle is completed, from the last phase, again, it is going to the first phase. So it is just like a fountain. From bottom, it is going up. Then again, it is coming down, and again, the arrow is going up. So it is going up and down, just like a fountain. So this model is also called fountain model because from the last phase, you're going back to the first phase, again following going downwards. And then from the last phase, again, to begin the next cycle, we are going to the first phase. And so it goes on in an up and down manner. And so it is called fountain model. Is it clear? Is it clear to you why it is called fountain model? Okay, Amrita. So let us look at the different phases. So the phases will be the same. All phases which you had studied in EDLC will be the same, but the approach adopted is different. That is, the sequence in which these phases are being followed is different. That is why we call it as different approaches. So next is iterative or incremental or fountain model. It can be viewed as a cascaded series of linear waterfall model. Cascaded series means here we have one waterfall model, again following the next waterfall model in the next sequence. And after that, again, the third waterfall model. Likewise, a cascaded means one after the other. So cascaded series of waterfall model. So it is a cascaded series of linear waterfall model, and it is a superset of iterative model where the requirements are divided into different groups. So here I said it is an incremental model. So to develop an incremental model, the first functionality, that is the most important functionality or requirement, should be identified first, and that will be built into the product. And once the first most important functionality is built into the product, a product will be released, and the customer can use the product with the main functionality. Then they will go on adding the other requirements slowly in each iteration. And finally, after several iterations, the final product with all requirements built into the system will be put into the market. So that is incremental model. All functionalities are not built in a single step, but the important functionalities are built first and they are put into use. And after that, the next requirement is added one by one and so on. So it is also called incremental model. And it is a superset of iterative model because we call it as a superset because several iterations are carried out here. During each iteration, your specific requirement is built into the product. So in order to do this, or in order to implement this model, the requirements should be classified first. It should be divided into different groups, and the most important requirement should be identified first, and that should be implemented. So this focus more on the requirements. The core set of requirements are to be identified first. The most important requirements are to be identified first, and they are built into the product, and they are deployed. After building the product, it is deployed and as the first release. So the most important requirement is built and it is deployed as first release in cycle 1. So you get a simplified product with the most important requirement built into the system in the first cycle. So the customers, they needn't develop, they needn't wait till the last phase. They are getting an intermediate product with the most important functionality built into the system. So after cycle 1, now the second set of requirements, along with the bug fixes in the previous cycle, that is in the first release, one product has been developed. So if there are any bugs in that product during the second phase, during the second cycle, the bugs in the first cycle will be fixed along with adding the new requirements. So the second set of requirements, along with the bug fixes and modifications for the first release, is carried out in the second cycle. So in this, after the completion of second cycle, you get a new version of the product with more requirements built into the product. Along with that, the previous cycles bugs will also be fixed. Okay. So this process goes on in a cyclic manner. That is, the process is repeated until all the requirements are built into the system, until all the functionalities are implemented. Here the functionalities, what we mean is the requirements of the system. So each development cycle, it acts as a maintenance phase for the previous. So one product is released after cycle 1 and is deployed into the market. So the next phase, we are going to fix the bugs that are there in the product which has been deployed in the previous phase. So each cycle, it acts as a maintenance phase for the previous cycle. So development cycles, they act as maintenance phase for the previous cycle, since bugs in previous products are fixed in the next cycle. So the model is shown here. As you can see, all the phases, most of the important phases are included here. That need conceptualization, analysis, design, development and testing, and deployment. These are the major phases. So we are just showing the major phases in EDLC. And this after one cycle, this is cycle 1. Then next we are going to cycle 2 here. Same linear sequence of waterfall model is followed. Then in etc. up to cycle n. There can be n cycles, and in each of these cycles, all these phases are followed till deployment. And after deployment, when the final product is released, these 3 phases are given. That is the support, upgrades, and retirement. So the last 3 phases come only after the nth cycle, because the fully developed product, or the product with all functionalities implemented, is generated only after the nth cycle. So the last, along with the after the nth cycle is completed, the last 3 phases of EDLC will be carried out. That is the support, upgrades, and retirement phase. So this looks like a fountain. As you can see, it is called fountain model because first it comes down from need phase, again it goes up to analysis during the second cycle, again it comes down till deployment, then again it is going up to analysis in the next cycle, and likewise are going up and down in a sequence. So it is called just like a fountain, so it is called fountain model. So the figure itself, it looks like a fountain where waterfall moves up and then comes down, and then again it repeats. Is it clear to you? Is it clear to you, the iterative approach? Okay. Okay. So after the iterative approach, we have its advantages and disadvantages. We'll cover it in the next class. And also we have 2 more approaches, that is prototyping or evolutionary model, which you had studied again in software engineering, and another approach is, and I have to study the advantages. For each approach, you have to study the advantages and disadvantages. These are important questions for each approach. What are the advantages and what are the drawbacks? And you have the spiral model also. All these figures you might have studied in software engineering, but we are repeating it again here. And finally, one more section, that is trends in embedded industry. Okay, so we will start with advantages and disadvantages in the next class. Now see your attendance. Number 1. Okay. Number 2. 5. Answer. 5 absent. 6. 7. 8. 9. 11. Number 11. Absent. Okay. Present. 11 present. 12 present. 13 present. Okay. 14 present. 16. Okay. 17. Okay. 18. 20. 22. 23. 24. 26. Number 26. Saurabh. 26. Okay, 27 present, 26 absent. 28. Subin. 28. Number 28. 29. Number 29. Okay. 30. Okay, 31. 32. 33. 33. Number 33. Number 3. Okay, number 33. Okay. And number 28, Subin present. Okay, number 26, Saurabh. Number 26. 26 on a tissue. 26. Okay, Saurabh present. Okay. Then Ansab. So Ansab, only Ansab is absent. Okay. Ansab is absent. Thank you.